Hi, Jenny here. Today we are going to make the second in the series of homemade candy bars, and I'm going to make some mounds / Almond Joys. The only difference being that one has almonds and one doesn't. So let's get started. For this recipe we are going to use 3 cups of coconut flakes, 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, some almonds, and some melting chocolate. We will measure out 3 cups of coconut and put that in the bowl, and then we'll cover it with our condensed milk and mix it well. Right, this mixture is still a little bit too wet, so I'm going to add another cup of coconut in here. Kind of want it dry enough that we can form little logs with it. Alright, I ended up using the whole bag of coconut. It was a 12-ounce bag. Just so that, again, it's a little bit drier. It looks like it should stick together more. So there's 2 different methods I've seen of making the bar part. So we're going to try to roll these in our hands and see how well that works. And if that doesn't work, the other method is putting it in a either like a 9x9 pan or a 12x9 pan, depending on how much mixture you have here. And you spread it out thin in that, and then you cut it afterwards. So I'm going to try to form little logs. We'll see if that works or not. We'll go from there. You can make them as big or as little as you want. Pretty much, and I guess it depends too, whether you want 1 almond on there or 2. So you can make them as big as what you figure that almond or 2 will stick into. I know I made these at Christmas time one time, and I thought I used even my cupcake tin. So I had the almond mixture like this, and I formed like balls in it, and then I kind of wrapped a coconut, I wrapped an almond inside. Maybe I'll do half and half and see which works out better, because this is still really sticky. I lined a 9x12 pan with some wax paper, and we're going to put the mixture in there and press it down, and then we're going to put it in the freezer for about 15-20 minutes. And then when we take them out, we can cut them into bars. Actually, I'm going to put some almonds in here now while this is still kind of moist, so the almonds will stick better. And then we can go in the freezer, and hopefully then it'll all stick together better for when we're going to dip it in the chocolate. Oops. Almonds smell good. So I want to press it in there pretty firmly so that it'll stay. Well, it's been 30 minutes and it doesn't seem stiff. It's hard enough. We'll have to see how it's gonna work when I cut it and if it'll stay together or not. I have to put it in there for longer. I also did these few where I started off. I kind of did some of them just plain. Had these in the refrigerator kind of for the same amount of time. It's a little bit easier at this point now that they've been in the refrigerator to get harder to kind of form them a little bit more. They were kind of spread out and all over, but kind of dried them out. That I guess in the long run that might work better because you can dry them out more. If we do that, because the top part's all nice and dry. Be able to lift them and dunk them in the chocolate. And be able to dry them some more. Make these be our mounds with no nuts. I put the Almond Joy bars back in the freezer for right now to stay hard while we're going to melt our chocolate. So I bought some milk chocolate melting wafers. I thought we'll try this type of chocolate this time for coating as opposed to just regular chocolate chips. So this is a 10-ounce bag. I'm going to heat all this up. We might need more. We'll see how this goes, how much it covers. So as the name says, they're little wafers. They're not chocolate chips, they're just little saucer-like chocolates. So we'll throw those in the microwave for a minute and stir them and go 15 seconds every 15 seconds after that to see how much longer we need to melt it all down. Well, there you go. 1 minute seemed to do it. It's completely melted. I'm going to take my bars out of the pan, put them on a cutting board to cut. Handy dandy tip, if your cutting board would actually just slide all over on the counter, if you get some like shelving material, this is like a non-stick slip mat type stuff, you can put that underneath and that should help keep your cutting board from sliding. So we'll see if this worked. It still looks so gooey to me. I don't know. So I also have these. Maybe I'll try to dip those first, and then when I dip these, I'll put them also on this parchment paper. Fork. See if that stays together. Nope. This may go down as one of my fail videos. Gonna have to maybe try this a different way. Alright, see what's gonna happen with these puppies. I think they're gonna be just as soft. And my almonds are falling out already. They're gonna fall out in there. You know, let's try one of the single ones. I must feel like I should wrap up the almond inside the coconut here. Another thing I could do is try to separate all of these and put them in the freezer so there's more air around them to dry it out more. How many ways can we try to make this work? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, you know what test kitchens go through. We'll try this recipe. That didn't work. Okay, let's try this. Mine's 57, right? 57 methods of trying to make it work. How many ways will it take me to figure out this recipe? We shall see, but this isn't working. Back to the drawing board. Alright, gonna try something I saw on one of the other channels. We'll see if this works. We'll put some of the layer down and roll it up into a tight ball with the parchment paper and put that in the freezer. See if that will harden it up at all. Which way should I go? Seeing as I still have this pan out, we'll use that. I think I'll try to roll some of these up in balls and just place them in here. Throw them back in the freezer too. We'll see which method really works. And I think if I want to make these all singles, you know, I like them smaller that I can just eat all at one time. I guess we're almost back to that first method where I was just taking them out of the pan and and making them into little logs. I'm gonna make them into a ball. Have that almond right in there. Try to flip it upside down so the wet side is up so it dries more. Alright, this is like Almond Joy 4. It's the fourth way we're going to try this. So I took these out of the freezer and they're a little bit more stiff now that they're into balls. I can roll them around just a little bit more. And hopefully that should help keep them together when we dip them in the chocolate. So basically we're going to have Almond Joy Bites instead of an Almond Joy bar. Fine by me. Still tastes like an Almond Joy. So I was wondering whether this would happen or not with the melting chocolate wafers, but it did get kind of hard on me. Now, granted, I am getting near the bottom and I'm sticking cold stuff in here, but I was going to melt this with a tablespoon of coconut oil, and I thought, well, I just wanted to try without and see, but I would suggest putting some coconut oil in there and seeing if that helps make this last longer. And you can kind of see too from the 12 ounces, there's a little bit left in there, but I got maybe half of the batch done. And really not even, I guess, because I still have those other rolls in there I haven't done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 15 of them. So I'm going to melt some more chocolate while I do that. I'm going to throw these back in the freezer so that they stay hard. And then we'll check out those rolls that I did and see how those turn out. But I will get some more chocolate to melt. Alright, I have one more package of the melting wafers, so we'll mix that up with a tablespoon of the coconut oil and melt that together, and we'll see how that goes. Didn't think it'd be taking me all day to make these things. It's like time to start doing dinner now. Well, I'm not ready. Oof. Well, the coconut oil has kept the chocolate softer longer. It hasn't hardened up yet, and it wasn't really hardening on the fork really per se. But funny, it also still dries faster. Thought I'd put some coconut on top to be aesthetically pleasing, and it's just falling all right off. Oh. If you want to put coconut on top or anything, do it quickly, like right after you put it on the tray while the chocolate's still wet. Alright, I'm going to put these back in the freezer to harden up, and then we'll work with these other rolls that I took out and see if they're hard enough to work with or not, or what we're going to do with those. Alright, see what we can do with this. Still looks pretty wet. Oh, yeah. Still as wet as before. So that didn't work. Should I try? Try to dip it in there as a log. See if that almond stays. Ha! Almond down! Well, they look a little better than my original ones. So those are those. And those are the original ones. I will finish up with the other log rolls that we have, and we'll go from there. If ever you're baking with chocolate and you have leftover chocolate, and you have some pretzels in the house, or peanuts, or any kind of nuts, then you can use it up that way. Or you can just put mounds of chocolate on the wax paper and throw that in the freezer, and that hardens and you just can eat the chocolate. Well, here are the 3 ways we pretty much tried. This was the first way, where I tried to make actual logs with the coconut mixture with the almonds on top and put that in the chocolate, and the chocolate pretty much kind of melted them. So here I made the balls, kind of like Almond Joy Bites, and the almond is kind of in the middle, and we rolled that up and dipped it in chocolate, so that turned out okay. And then last but not least was the log I rolled in the wax paper and cut those up, and I tried to keep them more in a rectangular shape. I don't know. They're a little bit less circular. There's their Almond Joy compared to mine, and their mounds compared to mine. Ah, wonder how similar they'll taste. Well, for something that I thought was only going to take me a couple hours, and it took all day, that wasn't the plan. So we'll see how they taste. I guess that's part of some things, some recipes. You just gotta keep trying different things until you find what works, right? To talk about, you know, obviously the Heinz 57 took 57 tries to get it right. Well, this was my Almond Joy 4, I think. Took me 4 tries in figuring different things and seeing what I like best. We'll see if this tastes like the Almond Joy. Let me know if you've ever made Almond Joys before, or mounds, and how it went for you. I watched about 8 different videos. And there was one I saw that the mixture looked a little moist, and she might have had some trouble, and she didn't show too much. But I mean, I'll show you everything. This is how it goes. The real cooking in the real world, right? So I will leave the recipe down in the description below. Let me know if you tried to make them or if you have made them and how it worked for you. And on that, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye. Okay. At first it was all just cold chocolate. And I got the coconut and bit into the almond. Oh yeah, that's an Almond Joy.